Welcome to BTech Spark. In this video, I'll explain you agent-to-agent communication in short. For that, let's consider this example. Now, I want to create an effective blocks. For that, I require two agents. One is trending topics analyzing agent, and the second one is this trending topic analyzing agent as well as this trending topics agent. This trending topics agent will find out me what are the trending topics, like top 3 trending topics you need to find out to me. Whereas this trending analyzer agent will provide me some content related to that topic. They both make use of Google search for performing these tasks. To control these two agents, I require some host agent. I'll just interact with this host agent so that this host agent can interact with the two sub agents and can able to provide me the response back. For this application, what we are going to implement is we are going to create this agent as well as this agent as well as this agent, and we are going to make them live. That is, we are going to create an application for this agent to running. For this also we are making the application. After making the application for this also we do the same, and after doing that we are going to use Uvicorn to run this, that is to serve this. That means we are hosting this or any agent using that Uvicorn to make it available on specific port. So in the similar way, we are going to hosting the other two agents and make them available through specific port to communicate with them. Then after, to communicate with the sub agents or our host agent, we are implementing a class and we are making use of that class in order to interact with. First we'll check with the sub agents are working or not, then we'll check with the host agent by providing some query. Now for the first step, let's do create the two sub agents. To create the two sub agents, we are making use of Google ADK. So since we are making use of Google ADK, we need to install it. So that's what the first step is. Okay, now our Google ADK got installed successfully. So let's create a trending topics agent. That is, this will research and find me the top 3 trending topics. For this, first we need to make use of this Google ADK and create an agent. You need to import this agent from Google ADK agents, and you need to define the few parameters for any agent. That is a model. We need to specify which model we can make use of, and the name. We need to specify unique name, it's a string, and then instructions, like what instructions this agent will follow and what it will implement. Those all we can specify under instructions. And then tools, you can specify a list of tools where this agent can make use of and to perform the task or instructions that you specified. For now I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro, and the topic, or you can say that agent name I am providing it as trending topics agent, and instruction I am providing it as, you can observe a detailed instructions I am providing. You are a social media trending analyst. Your job is to search the web for current trending topics, particularly from social platforms. When you asked about a trend, search for today trending topics and or similar queries. Extract top 3 trending topics written in JSON format. This is important. That is the response you need to get in a JSON format, otherwise you will get some error. By default, agent to agent communication, if you are going to perform using A2A, that is developed by Google, then the response need to be, intermediate responses need to be in JSON. Otherwise the parsing may causes the error. So make sure the output must be in the JSON from your agents, that is your sub agents. Particularly focus on current real-time trendings from last 24 hours. That is, we are making use of live data, so that's why I mentioned this. And you must return the JSON response in the below format, that is this. Trends you need to provide list For each list of trend, you need to provide the topic, description, and the reason why the topic is trending. So like this, I provided and only written the JSON object, no additional text. And for this, what it need to make use of? It need to search right to identify the top trending topics. Yes. So that's why I need to provide the Google search. That tool is already available in Google ADK tools. So that's why I'm providing that tool. Yeah, I'm running this so that this agent will be created. Now this agent got created, done. In similar to this, let's also define the analyzer agent. So that is this. We make using of the same predefined agent, and we're defining that by providing the model name, that is Gemini 2.5 Pro, and name of this agent as a trend analyzer agent, and instruction. You are a data analyst specializing in trend analysis. When given a trending topic, perform deep research to find quantitative data and insights for each trending you analyze. Search for statistics, number, and metrics related to the trend. Look for engagement metrics, growth rates, and geographic distribution and related hashtags or keywords, and provide concentrated number and data points. That means we are asking for some data related to that trending topic. Keep it showcase in concise way. Always prioritize quantitative information than or qualitative description. That means we are particularly looking at real-time numbers than a bit of theory. And we are providing Google search to perform a deep search and can able to get these all data for that particular trending topic. So like this, we created this analyzer agent as well. This can able to analyze the topic and identify these three from Google search and can able to provide it in a concise way. Now our base agents, that is two sub agents got ready. Now what we are going to do is we are going to make the applications with them. So for that we require A2A SDK. I'm just installing this A2A SDK. Requirement is to make the or expose the servers, or you can say the agents. I want to expose them as agent server applications. For that we require this A2A. So that's why I pre-installed it. Now first what we are going to do is we are expecting to expose these. That is first we are going to create some code for making these agents as application servers. Then after making these agents as application servers, we are going to host them on specific port. So first focus on let's creating the agent to application servers. To create the agent to application servers, we require this A2A SDK. So that's why I installed it. Now let's create a common server for making the agents to application servers. So that function is this: create a agent to agent server, where this will take the agent as input. This is a general function where it can take any agent and can able to return me the application. Or let me remove the thing so that to make it a bit more clear. Now we have just importing of dependencies and a sample function with it takes some input like agent it will take, and name it will take, agent name, description, skills it will take, and host, like on top of what host we are hosting, on top of what port that agent is hosting, and the status message of that host, and the artifacts, that is a response where to we store that location we are taking. And by taking all the details, what we are going to do is agent to application we are creating and we are providing it back. To create this server application like agent A2A server application, how to do this? To do this, we need to make use of this A2A starlet application. This we need to import from A2A server applications, and we need to create this A2A starlet application. To create this starlet application, we require two things. One is a agent card. We need to define it, and HTTP request handler. Why why do we require these two? By using what we are specifying by using these two to this application. This agent card refers to the metadata. You can observe here, this is the metadata about the agent. We are specifying the name of the agent, a description of the agent, and on top of what URL our agent is hosted, and the version of the agent, what is the default input our agent take, default output our agent will provide, and what are the capabilities, whether our agent can able to stream or not, those capabilities, and what are the skills of our agent, that is whatever the skills that we provide to this function, those we are taking. This agent card defines basically the agent skills, or you can say agent metadata. Why this is used? This is used to identify agents. Let's say the host agent is there, and that host agent in our application need to identify first the trending topics finding agent. In order to identify the trending topics finding agent, based on this metadata like name of that agent, description of that agent, it can able to identify that. Based on the description itself, it can able to identify which sub agent can able to perform what task. So that defines inside this agent card. After that, what an agent will do, it need to perform the task, right? Yeah, so whenever the request will be sent to that agent will need to perform some task and return the response back. For that, we need to define this request handler. This request handler we need to define by using a default request handler. This is also this agent card or this request handler, default request handler. These all present inside A2A servers itself. In A2A servers dot request handlers, this default request handler is present. In similar to that, agent card. This agent card is present inside A2A types. This agent capability is also present inside this A2A types only. Now I'll explain you what is this request handler and what is this executor. This request handler will take the request and need to handle the request by using some executor class. It will have the task memory related to performing the particular task. Whatever the request that we provide, that it will consider as a task, and for executing the task, it will make use of this executor and it will perform the task, and up to the task to hold the memory, it will make use of this in-memory task store. And I'll explain you this executor. What this executor is, it will contain an execute method, where that execute method can make use of the agent, whatever the agent that we provide, that agent it can make use of, and it can put the status message, whatever the status message that we provide, and till executing. Then after executing the task, it can store the data inside this artifact name, whatever the artifact name that will provide. Inside that, it will store the result. This class is by default is not there, so we need to define it. Now I'll explain how to define this executor agent. This ADK executor agent, we can define it as a class. It's a subclass from this, or it can make use of, it's a child class of this agent executor. This agent executor is by default defined in this A2A server agent execution. Now in this agent executor, we need to define three things or three methods, like initialization and cancellation of the task and execute function, where this execute function is important, and this execute function is used to execute, like it can make use to execute that specific task we'll provide the context of the task and we'll also provide the event queue. By using that data, it can execute the task. In this first initialization of this ADK agent executor, we are going to initialize the agent and the status message of that agent and the artifact, like where to store the response that need to be stored, that need to be initialized, and the agent runner. By using what runner we are going to running that agent that we initializing here. By using self dot runner, in this runner, using this runner, we are initializing the agent runner. That is the app name we are defining, what agent we are running that defining, and artifact service we're defining, like memory artifact and session artifacts and memory services also we're defining. So like this we're just initializing the agent and runner here. Whenever this execute method is called, during that time this agent executor will execute particular request and need to using this agent and need to provide the response. And in between it need to update or store the current execution status in this status message and artifact response. In this artifact response it need to store the final result, so that we need to implement in this execute method. Now, so in order to execute it, first we need to get the query and the task. In this context itself, the query and task are present. Using the context.get user input, you can able to get the query. And using the context dot current task, you are able to get the current task if it is already initialized. If the task is a new and it is not initialized, then by using this context dot message, we can able to create a new task. This new task we can able to get it. This we can able to get it from A2A utils. Now we need to execute this query and get the response, right? Yes, we already have the runner, agent runner. Now to execute this query and get the response, we first need to create session and we need to use that session inside the runner, and we need to request our agent to get the response. So let's see. First we need to create the session. You can see with the unique user ID and session ID I am creating this. Not unique, you can make use of the same as well using some app name, user ID and state and session ID. We are creating our session for this. Then after creating the session for the runner, whatever the runner that we previously initialized, for the same self.runner, now we created the session with these details. Then we are making use of it and we are passing this query to our agent and getting the requesting the agent and getting the response from that agent. You can see initially I am taking the response as empty, and you can see I am creating the content. By using our query, I am creating the content as a user role. After that, you can see I'm using this self.runner.run async method to provide the content to my agent, and using that runner to get the response. We're getting each and every event response from our agent and checking the final, waiting until the final response. After getting the final response, we are taking that text response and storing it in the response text. So till now we have executed the task and we'll get the response. Now in each step I want to put some updater where it will update in which step the execution will be. For that we first need to make use of this event queue, and inside this event queue we are holding some task, what are the tasks that we just got, and now we'll create the updater. Using this updater we'll update the task update for this event queue. By the unique task ID and using this unique task context ID. This task updater we need to get it from A2A server task. Okay, now whenever this got started, that is the session creation got started, that means we are working on it. We need to update this task, like the status is updating the task state, like using the updater we are updating the status using this task state. This task state is also A2A types, so we are making use of the A2A type and defining this task state as working. And new agent text message, in this we are specifying what is happening. This new agent text message we need to get it from A2A util, and we are specifying the status message of the agent we previously defined, right? Processing the request, so like that any status message that we send to it, that will be updated here. And the task for that particular task, the task is identified by using this context ID and the task ID. After that, this session will be run and we'll get the response. After getting the response, if at all everything is working well, then what we need to do, we need to store that response, right? Yes. So we are updating the artifact. You can see we're adding the updater add artifact to store the result for particular artifact, that is whatever the artifact that we previously specified while initializing. Like I have told you, right? Like in this response variable, like in this artifact name, whatever you provide while creating the agent, in that the result will be stored. You can see updater.add artifact is the method that we are using, and inside this name we are storing this result in the form of a part, or in the form of what model is expecting, that is in that format we are storing this response.txt. And we are compiling this updater. If at all in middle while executing the task, there will be some chances like it will be stopped after getting some error. So for that we are providing this except block, and we are updating the status like task got failed with a message that is error, that is e. By you for that particular task we are defining by using task id and task context. And final we are specifying it as true to return the response as final. We need to provide this. Without further agent's execution, it will stop at this if we mention this message in this updater. That is while, since we have two agents right now in this example, one is trending topics getting agent and then analyzer agent. If at all there will be an error while executing the trending topics getting agent, then it will provide like final is equals to true here. Then the request won't be sent again to the further next agent. It just provided, like the host agent will provide it as the final response, and we'll get the error like task got failed due to this error, and this is a final, so that's why it gets stopped there. Now we created our two base agents and two sub agents, and we also created this function, that is it will take the agent and it will provide me the server. To make use of this, I want to create one more function for trend analysis, or you can say for trending agent. To get the trends, I want to create this function. Whenever I call this function, it can able to create this application and return me that application. In order to create this application, we need to call this function, right? Yes. So I'm returning whatever the application that is returned by this function. So to call this function, what I need to pass, these all things I need to pass. To pass all those things, I mentioned all the parameters. As an agent, I want to pass, since it's a trending agent, I want to pass the trending agent. For port, I want to pass this, and for host, this trending agent currently I'm expecting to host on local host on top of this port, that is 10,000 20. And the skills defines whatever the skills this agent has. I'll define that at the after defining or after providing all these details. Then as the agent, what I'll pass is the training agent, whatever the agent that I have defined firstly, that a training agent I am passing. Next, I need to define some name of this agent and some description of this agent, as well as the artifacts status message while doing any task. You can see this is the status that will be updated in the updater, and the artifacts will be stored on top of this variable. Now I'll show you how to create these skills. The skills you can create by using A2A types. You need to import this agent skill. Using that, you can define a list of skills, agent skills as a skills. And here you can provide in each agent skill, you need to definitely provide these all details. Like ID you need to define, and name you need to define, description you need to define, tags and examples you need to define. ID is nothing but the name, and unique ID to identify this, and this agent skill will specify what the agent is doing. That it will find the trending topic, so that's why you provided the name like this, and you can provide the description of it. It will search for current trending topics on social media. Then you can provide some tags which are suitable to it, and you can provide some example inputs that we can able to ask to this agent. This is how you can able to define the skills of an agent. Now I'm running this. Whenever I call this function, or whenever I call this function, what I'll get is I'll get the application of my trending agent. Similar to this, let's define analyzer agent function as well. So whenever I call this analyzer agent, what it will do is it will directly create and return me the server. Like this, you can directly provide your skills, or else you can define the skills outside of your function as well. That's also a case, or this is also one of the case you can make use of. This analyzer agent, what it will do is it will provide quantitative analysis of specific trend. That's the description of it. And this agent related name and description we provided, the agent which you're gonna use also we provided, and the host and port we provided. You can check the port whatever we are using, that is a 10,021 here we are using. Previously we're running our trending agent on 10,020. Now we're running our analyzer agent on top of 10,021. Till now we just created the functions where by using these functions we can able to create application servers, that's it. But we are not hosting them or running them in anywhere. So to host them or to run them in anywhere, we need to define one more function, that is, so first let's import the dependencies like async IO for asynchronous communication, threading for parallel execution of multiple servers or parallel execution of a task, and Uvicorn to host the servers. And since we are running asynchronous input output, we need to import this nested asynchronous mode to apply nested asynchronous calls. Now let's define this run agent in the background, where currently the servers I am taking it as empty. After running the servers or after launching the servers, I'll add servers to that list. Now I am defining this run agent in the background. Whenever I call this by providing some agent function, that is nothing but you can say I'll provide this function. So whenever I provide input of this function on top of this port, on top of this name, what it will do is run agent in the background, it will create me a thread and provide me that. Inside that thread, this need to run my agent. So I'll explain how to do that. First, let's create a thread variable and let's start it and return that thread. Assume this thread is going to run whatever the create agent that you're provided, create agent function that you provided on top of what port you provided with that agent name. To create a thread, now I'm creating this run function. Inside my thread, I'm using this run function to run my thread. Inside this, I'm creating a nested loop and I'm starting that nested loop. Now you can see here I'm going to specifying that a loop will run until it get completed. So whenever the loop is running, I'm calling this function and providing my agent along with this port. So whenever I'm calling this function, assume this function is used to run this agent on top of this port. So this also will define now after providing the thread. Inside the thread, we have already imported this threading. Using that, we make use of thread and running this target that is a run function. So whenever I run this thread dot start, this run function will be started and this will be runned. This function we are going to define now. It will take the agent function name as well as port and it will run the agent on top of that port. Let's see how to do that. To do that, first we are taking what are the function that this method will get, and using that we are making it as an app, and using the build command we are building it on top of Uvicorn, on top of localhost, on top of what host we provided. So whenever we start or whenever we pass create agent function to this on top of some specific port, this will start that agent on top of that port, and inside the servers, that whatever the agent that got started, that will be added. Using these Uvicorn configurations, we are running that server, then we are adding that server to this server's variable list, and then we are serving it. So that through this run agent in the background method, we can able to run our two dependent agents, that is two base agents, that is we have defined one analyzer agent, we have defined one training agent, right? Those we can able to run in the background by using these methods. So, so let's see running the agents in the background. Now I'm just running this. Except, okay, I need to define except here as well because try is already defined. So whenever, if in case there will be any errors, then I need to write an exception case, that is here I'm writing. Okay, now this run agent in the background function got created. Whenever I call it, it will create me a server in the backend and run the agent. Now let's call this function to create our two agents. That is trending agent let's create, and analyzer agent also let's create and run it. You can see on top of this port, this agent got started, trending agent, and analyzer agent got started on top of this port. Let's say I want to display whatever the servers I have. That servers list. Previously the servers list is empty. Now if I check with the servers, you can see I have the two Uvicorn servers, those two are visible to me. I want to show you one more method to stop the servers, that is this server dot should exist is equals to true, you can put, so that servers will get stopped if at all they will be launched. Now I just commented these because I don't want to stop my servers. This is just for informative purpose. Now let's check whether our agents got alive or not. That is this agent is alive or not. By using this thread, I want to check whether that agent is alive or not. Thread one dot is alive. Yeah, it is alive, so that's why I'm getting true, and let's check with thread 2 as well. Yeah, both the agents are alive. That means they are available. Since our agents are alive on top of some servers, now we are expecting to connect to those agents, right? Yes. So to connect to those agents, we must need to define some client. Now I'll explain that. How to define a common client to connect to our servers or agents which are running on specific ports. First, let's import all the required dependencies. Then let's create a class called A2A tool client. Using this A2A tool client, we can able to interact with our agents. That means we can able to create the task and execute the task and get the response from it. So while defining the server, you have observed that we have created this execute method. We are using this execute method and we're gonna query and get the response from it, right? Yes. Now inside this client also we need to create some function. That is what create a task. Whenever this will be called, this tool will be called with this function by providing the agent URL and message. What this function will do is it will send the message to this agent URL and get the response from it, and it need to this function need to return that response. So that's what the logic that we are going to implement in this. For that, let's configure the request timeout at first. The timeout configurations I was set by using this HTTPX that we just previously imported, and we set timeout, default timeout, and connection timeout, as well as the read timeout, write timeout, as well as pull timeout. All we set as per standards. And using this timeout configurations, what we did is async client we created. Since what we're doing, we are calling asynchronously to this URL with this message and waiting till this much amount of time to get the response. At the end, we'll return that response back. So in the same way, we created this, or we are taking the configurations of this whatever we created HTTP asynchronous client. We are taking it as HTTPX client. Now using that, we will send message, or we will request the client by sending the request. We'll request the client by sending our input as a request. Nothing but our input is nothing but the message. Our client is nothing but this URL, right? Yes. So let's see how to configure these our agent as a client and how to create this request message. Request as message. To create the client, we need to import this A2A client. That's also present in A2A client. And in this, we need to specify two things. One is agent card. To which agent we are requesting that agent related card. Details we need to provide, as well as the HTTPX client, that is nothing but this we just previously provided. First, I'll show you like how to get this agent card. To to get this agent card, we can directly get this agent card information from this agent info, the self agent info cache. The self agent info cache that we initialize whenever we are creating this class. After creating this task method, I'll show you like initializing this class. So at the time, we'll initialize this agent information cache. In this, we are going to store the, we are going to store agent URL and the agent related card information in this. Like for that agent URL, that is the card information. Like the dictionary key value pair we will store. So if at all there that is the agent URL related metadata or agent card is already there data, then we are picking that. If at all the data is not there, then we are calling it directly using get method, that is as a client HTTPX client. We are requesting that URL to get the agent related JSON data. Whenever we are running an agent, so inside this automatically the agent card data will be stored, that we are getting by HTTPX client request. And using that, we get the JSON response. We're passing the JSON response and storing it in agent card data. So through this agent card data, what we are going to do is we are going to defining this agent card. You can see using this agent card and getting the agent card data, we're defining this agent card. That agent card we can able to get directly from A2A types. This agent card is already imported when we are creating the agents. At the time itself, we make use of this agent card that we imported from A2A types. Yeah. Now let's make use of that agent card here to request, and the HTTPS client is nothing but our HTTPS client, and as this client we are sending the request. This request, let's define now. This request need to be like send message request. This we need to import from A2A type itself, and here we are defining a unique ID. It's a random ID that we are generating, and the parameters nothing but our message sending parameters, nothing but our message payload we are providing here. This message payload contains our message user request. So whatever the request this create task will get, that will be taken as a message inside this payload, and we are taking it to create the request, and for the client we are sending that request and getting the response from that. So after getting the response, what we need to do, we need to extract the specific text, or you can say only the response text. Other than that, we don't need to do anything. Like if at all we get any error while parsing, you can see we're printing this error while parsing, and we're returning the string response. And this is the way where you can able to pass the response. You can see I am getting only the JSON dump response. After getting the JSON dump response, we are checking whether result is present in this response dictionary, and inside that result these artifacts are present or not. If at all these artifacts and results are present, we are taking whatever the artifact, like artifact is nothing but the location where our result is stored, that we are taking those artifacts. In those artifacts we are taking each part, like if part is present in it or not, we are checking it first. Then if part is present, then we are taking each part, and if the part is a text type, then we are returning that text. So this is nothing but the response of our text. So in addition to this, in agent to agent client, we need to define three more functions. One is initialization. While initialization, you can store your agent information cache that I have previously told, like a dictionary of a key value pairs. It will maintain the agent URL along with the agent URL as a key and agent card as a value. And the default timeout is nothing but whatever the user want to set while creating the client, he can able to set. And along with this, so let's take these two, or let's run this to check, or now let's try to use this A2A client to connect to our agents which are running on the background. For this, first I'm going to create a client for this A2A tool client. Now I've created the client. Then before calling any agent, we must need to provide the API key. Now I'm providing that API key. Yeah, as an environmental variable, I set my API key. This API key I've already set in my secrets, and I've allowed to this notebook to access that API key. Now let's make use of this A2A client to create some task. You can see I'm providing the agent URL, nothing but 20, that is 10,020. For which agent this URL is belongs to? This URL is belongs to the first agent, that is trending agent. Now I'm using this method to call that. That is A2A client dot create task. This will be called. So whenever this will be called, this URL we are providing and message we are providing. As a client, it will request or send the request to that agent and get the response from it, and we are simply returning that JSON response. Now I'm going to run this. What's trending in today? Now I'm just running it to check the response of it. It will take a second, or if at all we have done any errors, it will show us those. Yeah, now you can see, you can observe, like we got the JSON response. We got the JSON response with some description, topic. Yeah, in the same way as we defined, we got that response, topic, description, as well as the reason we got. So this is the first response, and the second response related topic as well as description you can able to observe, reason you can able to observe, and the third topic, description, as well as the reason also there. Yeah. So from this we can able to say we connected to our client or trending topics agent. It can able to identify the top trending topics. In similar to this, I want to run my analysis agent and get the response from it to check whether it is working or not. You can see I'm requesting, as a client, I'm requesting to this 10,021 port by providing this message or by providing this request. Analyze the trend AI in social media. Trend. Yeah, that analysis we are printing. It will take a second or it will take a moment to execute that agent and get the response from it. I hope it was run, but why it was not printed? Let's try to print it in the, or yeah, let's try to print it. We haven't got anything. Let's try to run it again. Yeah, now you can observe we got the response. Yeah. So we can say our agent, like our agent is also working well, and it also provided the detailed explanation of it. Yeah. So let's try to hide this, or let's try to, yeah. Till now what we have done, let's recap. Like we created our agents, like trending topic agent we created, trend analyzer agent we created, and we created a common server for launching these agents that we created, and we created the common client to connect with these agents we created. Then we, using that client, we have checked to connect with these agents, and that is also working well. Now the pending task is creating this host agent and providing these agents as sub agents to this agent, and running this agent and as a client querying this agent is the leftover thing. Now let's do that task. Before creating the host agent, we need to add some more methods to this client. So before creating those methods, we need to understood why we are creating them. As a host agent, what it will do, it will need to list all the sub agents, right? Yes. So that we are going to create in this, and after listing it will create the task, right? Yes. So that create task, this method we need to provide access to our host agent, as well as the listing also we need to provide. So before listing, what we need to do, we need to add the remote agents, right? So whenever we add, this need to be added to the agent cache. So whenever we using the same client, whenever we call this add remote agent by providing the agent URL, In the agent information, previously it was empty. Now whatever the URL that we provided, that URL got added. Then listing option for listing the agents. You can see we are defining one more method, that is a list remote agents. So whenever this is called, what it will do is it will return all the list of cache or agents information that will be written. So if there will be no cache or agents cache is not there, then we are returning empty list. Or else if there will be some agents are there, then we are taking one by one agent, remote connection agent, and if that agent related card is none, or you can say that is not there, then what we are doing is in the remote agents, or you can say, so whenever we are adding an agent, the agent card data we are not adding at initially. At this stage what we are doing is we are adding that. We are checking agent related information or agent card related information is there. Whenever I call this, that is the agent info of this agent remote connection URL, it need to get me the agent related information other than this none. If I get agent card information other than none, by simply I am just adding that information to this remote agents info. Let's say I am getting a none, that is for the agent URL. I'm not having the agent card information right now. Then what I'm doing, I'm requesting to that connection to get the agent card related information. So after getting that, we're converting it into JSON, and we are adding that agent data to this remote connection for this agent info cache, and at the end we are adding it in our remote agents info as well. That means that agent we are adding in our remote agent info, and in cache we are adding that agent with that agent data. At the end we are providing the agent related information. If at all there will be any error in this while fetching the information, we are simply saying that remote connection is failed or failed to fetch the agent information from that remote connection. So this is the way to add the remote agents. In addition to this, we might have a requirement to remove some specific agents or URLs as well from our agents cache. So to remove the agents, we have also defined this. Whenever we provide the URL to this remove method, what it will do is it will identify the normalized URL or remove the right strip of it, that is forward slash, and it will check the normalized URL present in our agent's cache info, and if at all that agent info is present in our agent info cache, that will be deleted, that we are deleting from it. Now I'm just rerunning this client and again defining the same client. Since this is an updated client, we again need to run this. Now let's try to add our two agents to check whether our agents got added or not. Before adding, let's list the remote agents. You can see currently it's an empty list. Now let's try to add the agents. To add the agents, we can make use of this method, that is A2A client dot add remote agent. Whatever the method that we just defined, we are making use of it and adding the two URLs. Let's try to list the agents, whether it can able to add it successfully or not. Let's check. You can see the agent related, you can see URL is added along with what is this is nothing but the agent card data, as we discussed it previously, that will be added. So from where this agent card data will get is, we'll get it from this, that is from this agent URL forward slash well known forward slash agent.json. This will be automatically created on top of your local host whenever your agent is running. We have already run our agents on background, so that's why that is already created and available on top of here. Let's say I want to check this, so you can just copy this and provide the agent URL in a manual way to get that to check. Now I'm providing, yeah. So instead of this, you can provide your remote agent URL. This is the trending topics getting agent URL. I'm just providing that remote agent URL here. Yeah, I'm running this. You can see I got the response. Now to see this, you need to read it in a JSON format. You can see now here you can able to get the response like the agent related card information. This is related to trending topics, right? Yes. Our trending topics agent related information since it's a 20. If we put 21, we'll get a analyzer agent related information. So since our agent is running, we can able to get this on top of that local host. Otherwise, if the agent is not running, we can able to get this data. Now let's create a host agent where that can make use of these agents and it can able to execute the task or user request. Now, in the same way as you defined previously, you can define the agent, this host agent with these minimal, or you can say these all parameters like model, what model you can make use of. Currently, I'm Gemini 2.5 I'm using, and the agent name, since it's a trend analyzing host agent, I provided the same name. And instruction, in instruction you can able to clearly specify what you're going to do, like the core decision making. In this instruction, I clearly specified you are just a host agent. You not perform any response. You will just do these all tasks like you will understood user intent. Based on that, you will identify to which agents you can send the request and the agent related discovery session I provided and using and task planning I provided, task delegation related data I provided. So like that, I defined clearly, precisely like what this agent will do. It can make use of what methods and it can make do what things I've already defined and tools you need to define here. What this host agent will do, it can able to list the available agents and it can able to execute or it can able to add the task, right? Yes. So those two I provided. One is agent to agent client related list remote agents method I provided and create task also I provided. Now I am running this. Yeah, this was run successfully. That means our host agent just now created. Now we need to serve this. To serve this, first we need to create a host agent server that we can create by using the same common function that we just previously created, like A2A server we are using and creating it. Here we are providing the details like agent name as well as description, skills and host as well as port as well as the status message. Whenever it is getting orchestrating, you can see this is the status message which is shown and the result will be stored in this trending report. And in the skills, we are defining the agent skill with some ID as a comprehensive trend analysis and name as comprehensive trend analysis and some description as it will find the trending topics and return and provide a deep analysis of the most relevant ones. And tags I'm providing for this as trends analytics and orchestration and insights, and I'm providing some examples for it as well. Now I'm just running this to create this host agent. This host agent now got created successfully. Now let's run this host agent as well in background on top of this 10,022 port. To run this agent on top of 10,022, I'm making use of it. You can see now it is running. If I call this servers, it can now list three servers since we launched one more server. Now we can make use of this server and we can able to perform the agent analysis like we can make use of two sub agents using this agent. Let's check that. Now I'm as a A2A client, I'm creating a task for this main host agent that is running on port 2022, that is 10,022, and I'm asking a question like find the most relevant trend in today web. For this, it will make use of that trending topics agent to identify the trends and choose randomly one of them and give me the complete analysis. of it using in quantitative data. Strictly the response is the JSON response output. To get this quantitative data, it can able to use the analysis agent, that is the second agent. Now I'm going to run this. Let's observe how the request will be sending, or so what is happening in the behind the scenes. First, a function call is happening. Yeah, now I got some response. So as a failed response I got. Now let's try to rerun it. I've told you right in middle, if any agent will return the response not in JSON format, we will get the error like that. So the agent's response must be in the form of JSON only. If at all you not get the agent response as JSON, you can see this error you can able to expect. Again we got the same response. So let's ask the question. While asking itself, let's say like, let's provide some strict note. While asking the agents itself, you can make use of JSON. While asking agents, strictly mention JSON response as output. Now it have done one function call. Yeah, now you can observe another function call is also happened. So hope it was working. So let's check till it'll get the output. Yeah, another function call is also happened. Like this, the host agent will communicate in the backend with the sub agents. Since for this host agent, whatever the tools we provided, listing option we provided, and create task will provided, it will first list all the agents. So whenever it lists, you can able to observe whenever we list, the agent URL along with the agent card data is available with it. And since it has the execute method, it can able to create the task. That is, it has a create task method. It can able to create the task and get the response from it. Now you can see we got the response. Yeah, we got a JSON response. That is today's trending topic. That is this. This is exactly today's date, and this is the trending topic and name. Elon Musk American Party, and the concept, that is the concept of an American party was proposed by Elon Musk in early July 2025. So this is the live trending topic. Yes, that's true. And the polling date as well as a demographic percentage, those all will be visible here. This is all nothing but, you can say, analysis report of it. So we got the trending topic along with the analysis report. This analysis report we got from the agent 2, that is a trend analysis agent, whereas this trending topic we got from the agent, that is a trending topics agent. So that's about this video. In this video we have seen agent to agent communication as well. Or let's say first I want to ask one more question, like it can able to list or not. That also let's ask this agent to check whether this agent can able to list all the sub agents present in it. Let's ask a question like list tools you have. let's see whether it can able to list and provide me that response. Yeah, so it has a list remote agents tool, and it has a create task tool. Okay, let's ask one more question, like what are the sub agents you have, or let's ask list remote agents, and let's see whether it can able to provide me the two agents or not. Yeah, you can observe. So it has a two sub agents, so that's why it can able to list those two. That is, on top of this port, this agent is running, and on top of this port, this agent is running. That agent related description as well as skills, and whatever the agent card is there, that also it provided to us. That means it can able to list the agents as well. And from the below example, you have clearly understood it can able to call the two agents and get the response from it. From first agent, it will get this response, and from the second agent, it will get this quantitative related response. So if we see like overall what we have done in this session, we have created, at first we have created our agents, two agents using Google ADK. First, we have taken the we have installed the Google ADK, and we created this trending agent. Then we have created this analyzer agent to serve them as server applications. We have created this common create agent to agent server function, and we making use of it and providing the, or we are getting the A2A Starlet application. For this, we providing agent card as well as a handler. This agent card is nothing but agent related metadata. Request handler is nothing but the method used to execute, or the class which is having the execute method. This has also defined by using some class, that is a ADK agent executor. Here we provided this execute method. Inside this, whatever the request we got, that will be executed, and it will provide us the response in overall. And to create these applications, A2A Starlet applications for our agents, we have created this create trending topic agent server, and we have created this create analyzer agent server as well individually. And we requested this, that is this A2A agent server to get that applications. Through this we get the applications. Then to run these agents in the background, we have created this run agent in the background method. Inside this, we have created one by one thread, and using each and every thread, we are running our agents in the background on top of what port we are specifying on top of that port. So now we check the agents are alive or not. After that, we created a A2A tool client. Using that, what we have done is the primary focus is to initialize the timeout, and by using that httpx client, we are taking the agent. We have created this create a task method inside that agent tool client. We are taking the agent URL and message. For this agent, we are expecting to send that message. To send that message for that agent, we first created this client. You can see it's a A2A client we created by using this agent card and httpx client, and we are sending the request as message payload, which contains the user message, and getting the response, and taking only the, or returning only the part of a text response whatever we require. And we have checked that by using already hosted agents, by providing the agent URL and by providing the method to check whether that agent is working and can able to respond for this request or not. We checked what for two agents, like first agent we checked as well as the second agent also we checked. Before checking, we need to create the client related object, and we need to initialize Google API key since we are using Google model. And then to make it A2A communication and create a host agent to communicate with these two URLs, or you can say these two subagents or any multiple subagents in real time. We have added this, that is list remote agents. What this will do is it will identify and list all the agent information cache which contains the agent URL along with the agent related card data metadata. So if at all the agent URL not containing the card information, what it will do is it will make use of this request and get that card data and convert it into JSON and then store that agent card data. So through this method, we can able to, or host agent able to list all the remote agents. After that, through this method, it can able to create the task for that agent URL by providing the message. Now to add the agents, we have created one more add remote agents URL. We first normalize nothing but removing the / at the end, if at all that will be there. And we're adding the remote agent or agent information cache. We're adding our agent URL into our agent information cache whenever we use this add remote agent. And if at all we want to remove, currently we haven't used this remove agent, remove remote agent. Whenever we provide this agent URL, if that agent URL is present in agent information cache, this method is used to remove that. So again, since we updated our agent to agent class, we again rerun this client to create this object. Then after that we need to add the two subagents, right? So for that, before adding, we just listed how many agents are there, nothing is there shown to us. After that, we added the two remote agents that we have, and we have listed, you can observe the remote agents, and we have shown you like whenever a agent is hosted on top of a local host, how do you able to get the agent card? That method also we observed, like agent card is displaying here. And at the end, we created the host agent by using the tools list remote agents as well as create task. And we converted that host agent to host agent server using this method. And using a run agent in the background, we run that host agent in the background on top of this port with this host name. After running that, we checked whether the third server is created. Yes, it is created. After that, we listed all the tools or all the available methods it has. We listed the remote agents that a host agent is having, and you can see we even used that host agent to make use of the two subagents and provide me the response, like find the relevant information trend as well as find the get the competitive data of it. Then what it will do is it will make use of the first agent and get this data like a trending topic, and using the second agent it also get this data. So that's all about this video. In this way you can able to perform this agent to agent. And in this video we have implemented this agent to agent communication using these three agents, that is host agent, trending topics agent as well as trending analyzing agent. I hope this video is useful to you and you got some knowledge on how to implement this agent to agent protocol using A2A SDK developed by Google as well as using Google ADK that is also developed by Google. That's all about this video. I hope you understood this video and you got some knowledge on how to implement this agent to agent protocol or some knowledge recap on this. I hope this video is useful. If you feel this video is useful, then please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye guys.